I walked through the gym towards what, until recently, was just called Victor's section, becoming known as the Terran section after the arrival of the rest of the Triple M. It consists of specialized equipment that can stand up to the raw power of an exercising Death Welder, an arena complete with combat droids to spar against, and, behind it, a gun range where Victor has recently begun firearms training to Krish, Jenny, Messiah, Hazaka, and Kaz. Torn and Brunhilde are both fully proficient in firearms usage, already, from being a qualified auxiliary security officer and security officer respectively. Miss Hunter is qualified from being a bodyguard, Zon and Emiko are military and former military respectively, so none of them need training from Victor, but from the sounds of it they train together and advise each other on improvements, anyway. Hatley and Fan both declined to receive firearms training on ethical grounds, and Petrikov because she can't be bothered learning that skill, and won't be on the excursion party, so doesn't need it. The reason I'm heading to the gym's Terran section is that Twiller helpfully informed me that there was something interesting going on there, then refused to elaborate. I walk in on a scene of all the members of Triple M, as well as a few of the more intrepid garden welders of my crew, sat around the arena. On the mat is Victor, currently engaged in a vicious hand-to-hand bout against a combat droid. As I approach, Twiller's holographic form materializes in front of me and says, "That's far enough, Captain. The gravity in the ring is turned up to ×3 galactic standard for Victor and I to fight. It's dangerous for you to go any further." I cock a brow tuft and answer, "Twiller, you are correct in your apprehension that I was unaware of the crushing gravity differential. However, I can't help but be somewhat insulted that you think so little of my intelligence, that you believe there to have been any chance of me stepping in that arena, with a 110 kilogram of Death Welder and a 65 kilogram of combat droid fighting so viciously that my brain is only able to apprehend whirring and jerking." She smiles. "I'd rather warn you and not need to, than need to and not warn you, Captain." I fan my flight feathers in concession. Fair point. Caution is what Death Welders do best, even if you are a computer who was constructed in orbit around a garden world. She laughs. I glance around her to the ring. "So that's you, is it?" She nods. "The rounds weren't even, so I said I possess a combat droid to even it out. Sucks that I got Victor first, though I don't think I would have won, no matter what." In confusion I ask, "Rounds? What are you—" But I am broken off by Victor grasping the droid, causing me to realize that that's what he has been trying to do the entire time I've been in the room, lifting it off the ground and slamming it down, hard enough to utterly destroy it. "Damn it," says Twiller, with an effective snap of her holographic fingers, indicating mock frustration. "Did you lose because you were distracted by me?" I asked, concerned. She feigns indignity. "Captain, it's my turn to be insulted. You think so little of me that you believe I can't have a conversation and a fight at the same time. I've still got processing power to spare, I'll have you know." I chitter. "Sincerest apologies, dear girl. So, what's going on? You mentioned rounds." She smiles. "Come to the stands and we'll explain." And then leads me to the bench on which sits Emiko, Toon and Zon, all giving Fluffy a hearty scritch. "Welcome to Constellation Corner, Captain," smirks Emiko. "Is someone going to explain what's going on?" I ask quizzically. "We're having a tournament," answers Toon, with an angry purple bruise at her left eye. Twiller getting knocked out marks the end of the first round. I got beaten by Kaz, Emiko got beaten by Samus, Fran beat Zon, and you saw Victor turn Twiller into scrap metal just now. We're in the semi-final now. It's Fran versus Kaz and Victor versus Samus. Then the winners will fight in the final. I've got a bet with Zon. I'm betting on Victor to win. She's betting on Fran." "So both of you think your partner is the biggest and scariest fledgling in the school canopy?" I quip. "You're right, Captain. We might be a little biased," laughs Zon. "What are the rules?" I ask, unsure if I'll like the answer. "You lose if you're thrown from the arena, concede or aren't able to continue. No hair pulling, no eye gouging, no crotch shots, at Victor's insistence. Try not to send your opponent to the medical room," lists Twiller, with unknowing matter-of-factness, but for the wiry smile she gives at Victor's rule. "That latter is less a rule, more an advisory," I observe. "Yeah, it wouldn't be any fun if we had to hold back that much," answers Zon gleefully. I turn to Hazaka, sitting with the others not in Constellation Corner. "You didn't wish to participate?" I say, raising my voice a little, even though it's slightly unnecessary, as my translator detects who I'm directing my speech at, and makes sure it reaches her. She answers, "I'm realistic. Toon got knocked out in 15 seconds, and she's default raised. I know how likely it is that I'd win, and how likely it is that I'd be really hurt. Best if I sit out. Hey, says Toon with mock indignation. I lasted longer than that. I hit her 23 times before she got me. Zon smirks. And how many times does she need to get you to knock you out? Toon looks embarrassed before saying, Once, but in fairness to me, she used to box semi-professionally. Zon cocks an eyebrow, smugly, seeming to be satisfied that no more needs to be said about that. At this point, Kaz and Miss Hunter step into the arena, and a hush comes over the spectators. How likely is it that Kaz beats her? I asked Twiller, while giving Fluffy a scratch between the ears in an attempt to calm my racing hearts. The absurdity of touching a deaf or predator for comfort not lost on me. I calculate her chances at substantially less than 1%, answers Twiller. She may be a boxer, she may be a strong woman, but Fran is the strongest there is, and is a professional bodyguard. She's also surprisingly fast. You wouldn't think so looking at her, but the Neanderthals are natural sprinters. Her stamina isn't quite like that of Victor's or Samus's, but I don't think this match will last long enough for stamina to come into play, opines Zon. The two women take position and bow briefly, before Twiller declares the match started. They both raise their arms to guard their upper portions and approach each other. Kaz has a full 25 centimeters of height advantage, but I have to remember, Hunter is the strongest woman in the galaxy. Kaz throws a punch, and faster than I can resolve, Hunter has caught it. Kaz answers with a second punch, thrown with her other hand, and Hunter catches that as well. With both her fists now apprehended by the other woman, Kaz struggles to pull away, then seems to give up on that and instead settles for kicking and headbutting Hunter, which he barely reacts to. Kaz is forced to the ground, her face a mask of pain before she screams, I give up! Uncertainly, I ask, what just happened? Fran was crushing her hands to make her concede, answers Toon. Remembering the solidity of Kaz's hands, which she demonstrated the night we met by rattling a hardwood table just by poking it, makes the thought of crushing them hard enough to force her to yield terrifying. Her hands now released, Kaz offers her right to Hunter, who hesitates uncertainly before taking it, allowing the two women to shake, conciliatorily, before Kaz makes her way over to me and the four who've already been knocked out. Condolences, smiles Emiko as Kaz takes her seat. It's alright. I didn't think I beat her, says Kaz with a wave of her hand and a shake of her head. I'm more interested in the next two matches. I'd say Victor has the edge on Samus, but I don't think it's clear-cut and either of them might be a match for Fran. Confused, I asked. They could? Isn't she stronger than both of them? Kaz smiles the smile of a Death Warder who's about to explain something they know and you don't, before answering, Yes, Captain, but strength is not the only strength. You'll have to forgive my Garden Warder brain for being addled by that contradiction. How is strength not the only strength? Surely by definition strength equals strength, doesn't it? I respond, my natural eyes narrowed. Clearly delighted that I'd swallowed the bait, as the Terran would put it. Kaz begins, What I mean is that being stronger than your opponent isn't enough to guarantee you winning a fight. My trainer used to explain it in terms of the 5 S's. Sighing, I ask, and what are the 5 S's? She holds up her 5-fingered hand and begins counting. Strength, speed, stamina, skill, and strategy. All that strength in the universe doesn't matter if you can't move fast enough to land a hit. The perfect strategy is, unless you don't have the strength to use it, etc. Of course, it's not perfect. It doesn't account for things like Victor's huge reach advantage, Fran's mass advantage, or barrel chest, but it covers all the things you can work on without gene therapy or augmentation. I consider her explanation for a few moments, as Brunhilde and Victor walk into the arena and bow, and Twiller announces the start of the match. I have questions but decide to wait until the break between this round and the final. The two Terrans circle, both poised in readiness. Their eyes fly over each other, seeming to be searching for any vulnerability, their footfalls precise and automatic, their bodies curled to minimize the front-facing target. For a moment, I forget the fact that these are two friends, two sentient beings who've, time and time again, demonstrated the fact that they are allies and good people. My mind sees killers, sees monsters. I shake myself back to reality. Terrifying as they are my friends, and this is a friendly combat game? Friendly combat? Based on something I could not perceive, the two titans decide that now is the moment to initiate the fight and engage each other. The fight is a blur to me, as they swing, miss, swing, and, if those sickening thuds are anything to go by, hit. The two of them seem to be a much closer match than either Kaz and Hunter, or Victor and Twiller's combat droid. Steadily, however, Brunhilde is pushed back and back towards the edge of the arena. She redoubles her ferocity in a way that reflexively makes me cling to Fluffy. Then, around 3 minutes after it started, Victor's booted ejects Brunhilde from the ring, and the round is over. She stands and the two of them shake hands, heartily, before she makes her way over to the group I'm sat with. Alright, so it's Victor versus Miss Hunter for the final. Now, how would you address their matchup under your 5S model? I address Kaz. Tricky, she says with a finger and a thumb at her chin. Fran obviously has the strength advantage, and I think I'd also give her the speed advantage. As Zon said, Neanderthals are built for sprinting. I'd have to give the stamina advantage to Victor. It's very difficult to assess both of their relative skill levels, given how much higher skilled they are than everyone but Samus and Toon. I think, in terms of kinesthesia and awareness, Toon outdoes both of them, but simply doesn't have the strength to turn that to her advantage in an unarmed bout. Is that fair to say, Toon? Toon's purple bruise is now augmented by purple cheeks as she says, I suppose so, with clear embarrassment at the praise. She then adds, I think Victor would have the advantage there. I don't know if he has better kinesthesia than her, but she has ASC, so I don't think she'll read him as well as he'll read her. I'm forced to interject again. ASC? Zon answers, Autistic spectrum condition. My girl's Aspergic, and it means she can't do social stuff as well as a neurotypical. In this case, it means that she won't be able to see Victor's intentions as well as he can see hers. She's not shy about it, in case you're worried that I've told you something she shouldn't know. Kaz considers. So, strength and speed to Fran, stamina and skill to Victor. She has a mass advantage and more solid bones than him. He has a lot more reach than her. I say those things cancel each other out. That means it'll be strategy that determines this match. I think the best strategy for Fran will be to end the match quickly, proactively close the distance to nullify his reach advantage, and win before he can apply a stamina advantage to wear her out. I don't think she'll do that, though. She played both of her previous matches quite reactively. She waited to be attacked and then responded. Victor's best bet would be to try to draw things out to the point where she gets exhausted. It could go either way. I decided to get Twiller's opinion. Twiller, what would you point their odds at? She shakes her head. The same. As good as 50-50. It's rare for odds to be so even. At this point, Victor indicates that he's done recovering from the round with Brunhilde, as he and Hunter take position in the arena, bowing to one another. As Twiller declares the match started, the best security officer in the galaxy and the strongest woman in the galaxy take defensive stances. Fluffy emits an indignant growl. It's only then that I realize I've been frantically scratching to the extent that I've apparently caused her discomfort. Sorry, Fluffy, I say, seeming to satisfy her by my tone. Those are some nerves I must have had, just now, to cause me to cause an Atescian Merkbeast discomfort. I'm probably among only a handful of beings who can claim they've done that and lived, most of whom are in this room. Victor has certainly adjusted his style across the 3 rounds I've seen him fight. Against Twiller, he was ferocity itself, correctly judging that her combat droid possessed zero credible threat. Perhaps I should look into upgrading. In his match with Brunhilde, he was poised but still self-assured. Against Hunter, he's cautious. He's actually hesitating to approach her. She stands perfectly still, only moving to keep facing him and adjust her footing, as he moves left and right, seeming to be looking for an angle of attack. After around 30 seconds of sizing her up, he commits to an approach, but seems much less happy about it than he did when engaging Brunhilde. Making use of his reach advantage, he throws a punch, which, judging only by the sound, Hunter seems to have parried with her forearm. They both move faster than I can follow, Victor dancing out of range to avoid her blows, Hunter knocking his blows aside as they come. Using his much longer legs, he delivers sweeping kicks to hers, which, while she is thoroughly incapable of returning, don't seem to bother her all that much. Everything about this is alarming. The speed and precision which I infer them both to be utilizing with each strike, the thuds and booms of their bodies impacting each other in the mat, the fact that they're doing this in 1.5 times their cradle world's gravity, the fact that they're doing it for fun, or at least, not out of necessity. Victor does indeed seem to be attempting to induce Hunter to exhaustion, but she appears to only be answering each strike with the minimum effort to deflect it. Those who are able to follow what's going on gasp in reaction to developments my brain simply doesn't work fast enough to allow me to perceive. Then, all at once the motion stops, and I am given a brief glimpse of Hunter, with a hand wrapped around Victor's wrist, immediately followed by him being knocked several meters backward, paired with a sickening crack. Now, lying on the mat, Victor emits a horrific strained wheeze, which lets me know that something is not right. I turn to Twiller. Drop the gravity back to galactic standard right now. Give me a scan of Victor. Something's not right. Then, addressing Brunhilde and Kaz, You two, find a stretcher. Gravity is normalized, Captain. Victor Taylor has 5 fractures across his free, lowermost right side ribs, says Twiller. Auto survival? I answer, entering the ring with her following beside me. He is extremely unlikely to die from broken ribs and having the air knocked out of his lungs. He'll need regen, though. It would be another matter if he'd had a lung punctured, she answers, all cheer gone from her voice. I pass Hunter, and see her usual blank mask expression replaced with one of terror. Send urgent notifications to Drs. Gatto, Shing, Hatley, and Fan. We need at least one of them to meet us at the medroom, I say to Twiller, entirely in captain mode now. I draw up to Victor, lying on the mat, gasping to draw air into emptied lungs. Victor? Victor, talk to me. Let me know you're alright. Fine, Cap. Had worse. Where's Fran? He answers through wheezes. I look around and see she's disappeared from view. I turn back as Brunhilde is laying a stretcher beside him and answer, She's gone, Victor. Why'd you want her? He raises his right hand feebly and answers, Didn't shake hands. I give a mirthful laugh before saying, You idiot, Victor. Then, addressing all present, From now on, don't send your opponent to the medical room is a hard rule for all future matches. Captain's orders.